PRATIMA PATIL from APPA Public School. I am taking again biology lesson, that is crop production and management. Yesterday in the last class I have covered up to the sowing process. Preparation of soil is done and sowing of the seeds, selecting the seeds and then sowing of the seeds also done in the studies in the last class. Okay. So today I am going to start the next one, that is adding the manure and fertilizers. Okay. So now the next part, that is the third step in the agriculture, that is adding manure and fertilizers. Right? So third step in the agriculture process, that is adding the manure and fertilizers. So students, you should first know that why these manure or fertilizer need to be added to the field. Right? First thing I'll tell you, the soil which is present in that particular field where we went for the agriculture process, right? And in that soil at present, because of previous cropping processes, this soil might have lost its nutrients, right? This soil might have lost its nutrients, right? Nutrients are present but in very less quantity. Right. So if this is the condition, in this particular soil we cannot go for sowing the seeds directly. Right. If that is the condition, if we go for sowing the seeds in the particular soil of that field where nutrients are very less, if that is the case, then finally it is going to affect the yield. Yield will be definitely less at that time. Right. And the main aim of the farmers is to get the high yield at the end of the agriculture process. So for that purpose, what we have to do, we have to go for increasing these nutrients which the soil has lost during the previous cropping processes. Okay, so for that purpose, to replenish the nutrients back to the soil, we need to add the nutrients again in the form of either manure or fertilizer. Right? We need to add the nutrients, we need to give the nutrients in the form of manure and fertilizers. Okay, so here, what is manure? First thing, in this addition of manure and fertilizer, you should know what is this manure. Okay, manure is rich in humus. Manure is rich in humus, which we are going to obtain from the decomposition of the organic substances. Right? We are going to get the manure from the decomposition of organic substances. So what are the organic substances now? Right? So I think you have enough question mark with respect to this. What is meant by organic substance? Organic substance may be anything like kitchen waste, right? Or as the garden waste. What this waste contains here? Kitchen waste, it is nothing but it's containing so many types of vegetables, vegetable peels and all, which is we are throwing out as that vegetable is not suitable for cooking, we are throwing it out and in the dustbin, right? In the dustbin, when we are throwing these all vegetables, the fruit pulp, covering of that fruit, right? These all comes under the kitchen waste. In the garden waste, the leaves of the plants, right? The barks, the stem parts of the plants or trees. So these all comes under garden waste, right? So here for the preparation of this manure, we are using the raw materials as kitchen waste or garden waste, or in general we can call it as organic substances. So these organic substances are the kitchen waste and the garden waste, which are completely organic in nature. So next one, how to prepare, where usually the manure can be prepared, right? Manure can be prepared by farmer itself in his field. Right? Manure can be prepared by farmer itself in his field. Right? And this manure is going to give lot of humus to the soil. Manure is going to give lot of humus to the soil. What is humus now? What is humus? After the decomposition of the organic waste, what the product we will get? Understanding? After the decomposition of organic substances, we will get a kind of a product. That decomposed product is nothing but the humus. Right? The decomposed product of the organic substances is the humus. So, manure is going to provide a lot of humus to the soil. Okay. Other than this, still many advantages are there of this manure. I will discuss those advantages. Yeah. So here, advantages of manure. What are the advantages, usefulness of the manure? Right. So here, the first one. The first advantage of the manure is it gives lots of humus to the soil, just now as I said. Right. It gives lots of humus to soil. Right. Next, it helps in the growth of useful microorganisms. Helps in the growth of useful microorganisms. Right? The manure is going to help in the growth of useful microorganisms. Even we can say over here useful microorganisms and even earthworms. Right? Even to grow the earthworms also, the manure is going to be helpful, because in the manure there are no chemicals which are going to harm any living organism. Earthworms, microorganisms, all are living organisms. So here manure is not going to harm these living organisms, which are helpful to increase the nutrient quality of the soil. Okay, so the next one. Next advantage of manure. That is, manure even helps to increase the porosity of soil. To increase the porosity of soil. So porosity of the soil is being increased by this manure. In the previous class only I have explained, during the preparation of the soil we have to go for loosening of the soil. The soil particles will be away from each other. Because of that the soil will be porous in nature. So even this manure is also helpful to increase this porosity of the soil. Because of that increased porosity of the soil, we can say that it helps in the exchange of gases. It helps in the exchange of gases. Fine. Humus to the soil. It is going. The manure is providing humus to the soil. It helps in the growth of useful microorganisms and earthworms. It increases the porosity of the soil, and hence it helps in the exchange of gases. Okay. The next one, last advantage. That is, it helps to improve texture of the soil. Texture of soil. Right? So, it helps to improve even the texture of the soil, that is the physical appearance of the soil also will be good if we use the manure in the field as a nutrient substitution. Okay. So, other than this, you need to remember one more definition with respect to the manure. Okay. So, that is, just a minute. that is the process of manuring. The process of manuring. Okay, what is manuring then? Addition of manure, addition of manure to the soil to increase its nutrient quality is called as manure, right? So when you are adding the manure to increase the nutrient quality of the soil, right? So that process of addition of the manure to the soil to increase its nutrient quality, we are calling it as manuring. We are calling it as manuring, right? So this is actually a definition which will be usually asked for 1 mark. Okay, what is manuring? So here is the definition of that. Addition of the manure to the soil to increase, we can even use the word over here, to replenish the nutrients. To replenish its nutrients is called as manuring. Okay, so next one with respect to the fertilizers now. Okay, now we will start about fertilizers. You came to know a complete idea about the manures right now. Okay, so now we will talk about fertilizers. What are these fertilizers? As I said during exploration of manure, that this is obtained from organic substances, and the manure itself is a organic substance, right? In that there are no chemicals. But when we are talking about fertilizers, then these fertilizers are made of inorganic substances. Inorganic substances. We can even call it as inorganic salts. Okay, these are made of inorganic substances or inorganic salts. When we are talking about inorganic substances or inorganic salts, then definitely these fertilizers are made of chemicals. Okay, certain plant nutrients are required, so by that particular chemicals we are mixing in the fertilizer, so that this fertilizer can be used to replenish the nutrient quality of the soil. Right? That manure is completely organic, fertilizer is completely made up of inorganic substances. Okay, so now what are these fertilizers, like where these fertilizers are produced, where they are manufactured? As we have seen, manure that is produced in the field only by farmer itself, right? But these fertilizers can be prepared in factories. Fertilizers can be prepared only in the factory. Okay, so we cannot go for preparing these fertilizers in our field. So next one, about the fertilizers, if we want to talk with the eco-friendly nature of that. Eco-friendly nature of that, if we want to talk, then fertilizers are harming the soil. Fertilizers are harming the soil, right? Because excess of use of the fertilizer is nothing but excess of use of the chemicals will make the soil less fertile. Right? Apart from that, these fertilizers are even causing pollutions. Apart from this, the fertilizer even causes the pollution. What kind of the pollution the fertilizers are causing? That is maybe water pollution, and even soil pollution. Right? And if it is sprinkled and those droplets of the fertilizer, if it mixes with the air, then definitely it is causing the air pollution also. Right? So, in general, I said fertilizers are causing pollutions. Right? And apart from these all things, if the fertilizers are used in the particular field, then these fertilizers are even going to affect the growth of the friendly microorganisms, affects the growth of friendly microorganisms, friendly microorganisms and earthworms right? So when we are talking the eco-friendliness of the fertilizers are definitely harming in many ways, right? It is going to harm the soil, it is going to make the soil less fertile, it is causing lots of pollution with respect to the water, soil and air pollution if we talk, then it is going to affect the growth of friendly microorganism as well as the earthworm, because in these fertilizers chemical substances are there, right? So here we need to talk that a positive point of the fertilizer, these all whatever you have studied, these all are its disadvantages, right? These all are its disadvantages. But when we talk about its advantage, then there is only one advantage of that. I will take it over here. Advantage is only that these fertilizers are very rich in plant nutrients. These fertilizers are very rich in plant nutrients, right? Fertilizers are rich in plant nutrients, and we may get very high yield because this fertilizer is having rich amount of excess amount of the nutrients in that. So because of that, the farmer is going to get better yield at the end of the agricultural process, right? This is actually the only one advantage of fertilizers over the manure, right? So you have studied now about the manure, about the fertilizers, right? So now a very important part of the lesson, that is differences between manure and fertilizer. Differences between manure and fertilizer. Differences between manure and fertilizer. Okay, when we are talking about the differences, in the beginning of this only discussion of the manure and fertilizer only, I said fertilizers are made up of organic substances. You can write it as directly made of, right? Made up of organic substances. But fertilizers are made up of inorganic substances. Fertilizers are made up of inorganic substances. Next one, second difference between manure and fertilizer, that is manure provides a lot of humus. Manure provides a lot of humus to the soil, right? And fertilizer does not provide humus to, does not provide humus to soil, right? Next one. Fertilizers helps in increasing the porosity of the soil, right? But manure helps in the increasing the, or increases the porosity of soil, But when we are talking about fertilizers, fertilizers are not going to increase. Fertilizers are not increasing porosity of soil. Right? So the last difference in between manure and fertilizer is manure is less rich in plant nutrients. Manure is less rich in plant nutrients. Right? And fertilizers are, just now I said the advantages of the fertilizer. The fertilizer is very much rich in the plant nutrients. Right? So that is the fourth difference here. Fertilizers are, we can take it as directly, are rich in plant nutrients. Are rich in plant nutrients. So these are the differences between manure and fertilizer. Very important question, students. They may ask you in the examination these differences, especially for 3 marks. Okay, this question will be asked usually for 3 marks. The differences between manure and fertilizers. Okay, once again I'll revise the differences. Just concentrate, please. Made up of, the manure is made up of organic substances, and fertilizers are made up of inorganic substances. Right? Then manure provides a lot of humus to the soil. I said that is a decomposed product what we are getting after the decomposition of the organic substances. What product we will get, that is called as a humus, and the manure is prepared by the organic substances itself. Right? So this manure provides a lot of humus to soil, and fertilizers does not provide any humus to the soil because fertilizers are made up of chemicals. Right? So next one, manure helps in increase the porosity of the soil. Right? It is going to make the soil porous so that exchange of the gas takes place very easily if farmer uses the manure. Okay, so with respect to the fertilizer, it is not going to increase the porosity of soil. Just it is providing the nutrients, that too in the form of a chemical. Right? So the next one, that is manure is less rich in plant nutrients. This is actually the drawback of manure. Okay, manure is less rich in plant nutrients, but fertilizers are rich in plant nutrients. So what are these plant nutrients means? What are these plant nutrients which are present in a very rich amount in the fertilizers? So those plant nutrients are nothing but the N, P and K. Right? What are these N, P, K means? Nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. Right? So nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium, that is NPK, are the plant nutrients which are present in very high amount inside the fertilizers. But this NPK ratio is quite less in the manure. If you compare manure with the fertilizer, then NPK ratio in manure is quite less compared to the fertilizers. Okay, students? Okay, this is about the differences of manure and fertilizers. Yeah, next part. That is, we have completed now the addition of manure and fertilizer. Right? So the next step, that is fourth step in the agriculture process, that is irrigation. Right? That is irrigation, a very important part of agriculture, a process or as a step of agriculture, irrigation. Right? Irrigation means watering the crop plants. Right? Irrigation means watering the crop plant. Then what is exactly the definition of irrigation? That is watering the crop plants at a regular interval. At a regular interval. So watering the crop plants at a regular interval is called as irrigation. Right? So definitely damn sure 1 mark question this is. Define irrigation. Right? So watering the crop plants at a regular interval is called as irrigation. Okay. So next one. Why we have to go for watering the crop plants? Can't be directly depend upon the rain. Right? Can't the farmer directly depend upon the rain for the purpose of watering the crop plants? But nowadays we can't do that because raining we cannot expect every time soon after the sowing process. Right? Especially after the process of sowing. After the process of sowing, you know what we are doing in the sowing? Already I have discussed about this. We have sow the seeds. Right? These seeds are going to germinate. These seeds are going to germinate in the next step after sowing, right? So to germinate the seeds which we have already sown in the soil, that seed requires the water. That seed requires the water because this seed is going to absorb the water and become soft and starts germinating. Right? So to germinate the seeds we require the water. That's why soon after sowing we are going for irrigation process. Right? So now here, what are the different irrigation methods are there? Right? There are many methods are there. First one comes actually about the traditional methods. Traditional method of irrigation. Right? As I said, irrigation, there are two methods are there. One is traditional method of irrigation and the second one is modern method of irrigation. Right? In traditional method of irrigation, what will happen actually? What in the olden days the farmers were following, that comes as traditional method. Right? There are actually two types are there in that. First one is moat method. First one is moat method. Second one is chain pump method. Second one is chain pump method. Okay, so these two are called as traditional method of irrigation. So what exactly this indicates? The moat method indicates. So moat method is nothing but it is pulley system is there in that. Right? And in the chain pump, usually they are using the pumps over there. Okay, so I'll explain you first with respect to the moat method. Okay, I'll explain you first about the moat method with the help of pulley system. Okay, so now see here, what is the pulley system or moat method of traditional method of irrigation means? For example, you have seen, I think in the village and all, the wells will be there, right? And to that well, a pulley will be there here. Right? A pulley will be there. Deep inside, of course, water will be there in the well to lift that water up. Okay, we use this pulley. We used the rope which is tied to the container. The rope will be tied to the container, right? The rope will be tied to the container and with the help of the pulley, we are going to lift the water from the well. Right? And this is actually about the moat method where we are going to lift the water from the well. Imagine this as a well. Okay, so water is there in the well which we are going to pull it up by using this pulley. Right? So this is going to be pulled out and the farmer is already made the area slopes over there so that when he pull it out, and when we allow the water to fall inside this particular area, the water will flow directly to the complete field, because already he has arranged the slopes over there, right? So when you pour this water out, it starts flowing to complete field, right? But here, one drawback of this moat method or pulley system is that it is going to consume lots of water. That is, lots of wastage of water will be observed here, right? Wastage of water is more in this method, right? So next one, second one, that is chain pump. Chain pump. I said you that in this system, instead of pulley, we are using the pump to lift the water up out from the well. Okay, if this is the well again, imagine it as a well. Okay, to lift this water from the well out, we are using the pumps here. The motors are used, right? To lift this water through this pump, it is allowed to move to the field. The water is allowed to move to the field. Okay, instead of pulley in the chain pump, the pump is used. So the use of the labor is reduced in the chain pump method. Use of labor. Labor is required to pull the water from the pulley with the help of a rope and container, right? So that labor work is decreased in this chain pump method, because we are using directly the pump, which is going to help to lift the water, and we can directly allow that water to fall near the field, right? So this is actually about the chain pump method. In these two methods, the moat method and chain pump method, in these two methods we are observing that there is lots of wastage of water is there, right? Wastage of water is observed, right? So because of this, nowadays we all know that there is really a very shortage of water is observed in every area, right? So to avoid the wastage of water, to save the water, we have to now shift it to the modern method of irrigation, right? So over the traditional method, the modern methods are going to save more and more amount of water. Okay, so now we will discuss about the modern method of irrigation. Modern method of irrigation. Very important part, this one, with respect to the irrigation side. Just remember, modern method of irrigation, there are two types. First one is drip system, right? First method of irrigation under modern is the drip system or drip irrigation system, and second one is sprinkler system. Sprinkler system, right? So in the modern method of irrigation, two types are there. First one is drip irrigation system and second one is sprinkler irrigation system. Okay, so I'll explain about the drip irrigation first. So already the name itself indicates that drip irrigation system is, the drip indicates that we are going to allow the water to fall near to the plantlet, that too in the drop-wise manner. So here pipelines are already made. Pipelines will be made in that way, in such a way that this pipe will be having the small holes in that. Small holes will be present, and this, through these holes, drop-wise the water is going to fall, that too near to the roots of the plant. Near to the roots of the plants, right? In the drip system, pipelines will be made in the field in such a way that each plant, imagine this is a field, okay, and here are the pipelines. Okay, these all are attached with the main pipe. And these all are the sub pipes which are present near to the crop lines. Okay, so everywhere, wherever the plantlet is grown, these are the plantlets, imagine. So where there exactly the holes will be made to this pipe. Holes will be made to this pipeline. So that from that hole, the drop-wise water is going to fall, that too near to the roots of the plants. Near to the roots of the plants. Why this is followed? Because of this reason, because of water is allowed to fall in a drop-wise manner, that near to the roots of the plant. Because of this, we can save here, we can save lot of water. Right? We can save here lot of water. Right? Because there is no wastage over here. We are not allowing the water to fall anywhere apart from the plant. We are directly allowing the drop-wise falling of the water, that too near to the roots of the plantlet. So there is no wastage of the water at all in the drip irrigation system. Right? So there is no wastage of the water. So we are going to save the water, that too in the bulk amount. So this kind of a drip system is followed, especially in those particular areas where there is scarcity of water. Where there is scarcity of water, lack of water. Right? Or very less water is available. Very less water is available. In that area, drip system can be used. In that particular area, we can use the drip irrigation system. Where there is very less amount of water or where there is lack of water, in that system, in that particular area also, we can go for agriculture process by using the drip irrigation system. Right? So in this system, compared to the second one, that is a sprinkler system, the drip system is going to save the water more and more. Okay, sprinkler system also, compared to the drip, sprinkler is using some more water. Right? So this is complete picture of drip irrigation system. So the second one which is a very important, that is sprinkler system. Sprinkler system. Right? This is a second modern method of irrigation. This is second modern method of irrigation, that is sprinkler system. That is sprinkler system. Okay. The name itself over here also it is indicating that water is allowed to sprinkle everywhere in the form of a rain. It is just looking as if it is raining if the sprinkler system is switched on. Okay. So how the working principle of this sprinkler system is there? Okay, we will see about that first. So here, sprinkler system, again I'll draw a field over here so that you will come to know about the complete picture of the working of this sprinkler system. Okay, so here, in the sprinkler system, actually from the source of the water, the pipelines are made. Okay, and here, the main pipe will be present. This is actually the main pipe. To these main pipes, perpendicularly, sub-pipes are attached. Right? To this main pipe, perpendicularly, perpendicular means to the horizontal line. If a line crosses at a 90 degree, then we used to call it as perpendicular line. So over here also, to this, sub-pipes are attached in a perpendicular way. So here it is the angle of 90 degree, right? So this main pipe to the sub pipe, it is attached in a perpendicular manner, and over here to this sub pipe a nozzle is present. A nozzle is present, right, which is having holes in it. Which is having holes in it. So this is the main pipe, right, and these are the sub pipes. And this is the nozzle, right, to the sub pipe. At the top of that sub pipe, the nozzles are attached. The nozzle is having small holes in it, right. So now how the working principle of sprinkler system is. These all are the arrangements, how the farmer has to arrange the sprinkler system in his field. Okay, now how it works. What is the working principle of this sprinkler system? So from the source of water, it may be well or it may be river or pond, from that the water is allowed to move from this main pipe with the pressure. Listen students, this word with the pressure is very important. Right? With the pressure, when the water is allowed to move from this main pipe to the sub pipe, this is main pipe, right? To the sub pipe. Here it is, sub pipe. Okay, when the water is allowed to move with a high pressure from the main pipe to the sub pipes, that time rotating nozzle, this nozzle is present over here at the top of the sub pipe, right? That starts rotating. And when it starts rotating, from the holes, water with the pressure going to sprinkle everywhere. Because the nozzle is going to rotate, and through the holes, the water starts sprinkling everywhere near to that nozzle, that particular sprinkler system. Okay, in a circular way, this complete part is now irrigated, right? So here, the main thing here, the sprinkler system is going to irrigate the land in such a way that as if it is raining. But the thing is that during this sprinkling, water is sprinkling everywhere over here. This water may fall throughout the field. If the plantlet is there, definitely it is going to use that water. If there is gap is there in between the plants, this gap, right? In between the two crop plants, we are maintaining the distance, right? So in that distance also, this water is going to be irrigated, added, right? By the sprinkler system. So here, little bit wastage of water is observed. Getting little bit wastage of water is observed in sprinkler system if you compare with the drip system. In the drip system, there is no wastage of water at all. Okay, so in the sprinkler, little bit wastage of water is observed. Okay, for the drip system, whatever the field you are selecting for the drip irrigation purpose, that field should be completely even, completely horizontal. If there are ups and downs in the field, then in that particular field we cannot go for the drip system. We cannot go for the drip irrigation system in the particular field which is having ups and down in that. The field is, if it is not even. Okay. So sprinkler system can be used even in an uneven field. If the field is uneven, having the ups and down, right, then also we can use the sprinkler system, because sprinkler system directly going to sprinkle the water everywhere equally even upon the uneven land, right? So in the uneven field, if it is there, then we have to go for sprinkler system directly instead of drip system. For the drip system, we have to go for selecting the field which is completely even, horizontal, completely. Okay, fine. So this is actually about the irrigation process, that is watering the crop plant at a regular interval. Okay students, so here we have studied about the traditional and modern method of irrigation. Okay, so from where the farmer is going to get this water for either traditional or for the purpose of modern method of irrigation? Of course, irrigation means watering the crop plant. From where the water is going to be used as for the purpose of irrigation? So we need some sources, right? We need some sources for irrigation. So what are these sources of irrigation over here? Sources of irrigation in the traditional method you have seen already, the wells, right? Tube wells, ponds, rivers, right? Dams, canals. So there are many sources are there to take the water from that particular source and irrigate the field, right? So it may be the well, it may be the tube wells, it may be the ponds, rivers or dams, and even canals are also used as a source for irrigating the field, right? So this is complete picture about the irrigation process. In my next class, in my next part, I will explain you about the protecting from weeds. how we have to go for protecting our crop plants from these weeds. Okay students, thank you.